Welcome back to the techno-communism conversation. I was trying to resist the urge to engage with any eclipse silliness or conspiracy theories in the last few days. But then I was outside when the eclipse started, and a pigeon pooped on my hat, and I had to spend 10 minutes cleaning it. So now I'm not so sure. I'm going to read a little something for you to quote one of the most important thinkers of all time, to paraphrase. A specter of a new class today haunts this increasingly connected world. Let's call it the Agentariat. And this conversation explores the emergence of the Agentariat, or AI agentic enabled class, a workforce empowered by advanced computing tools of a historically unique kind. The limitations of the traditional Marxist framework to 21st century necessaries in the face of this emerging new capability and ultimately class must be examined, and a potential evolutionary path toward a revolutionary cybernetic socialist and ultimately techno-communist future must be explored. And this path, I believe, in this more fully realized techno-communist world, not the cybernetic socialist world of the next few years, in all likelihood, but in the years to follow, will lead to the Connectariat. That is a collective intelligence formed through the integration of non-invasive brain-computer interfaces, leading to the possibility of technologically mediated telepathy within the already vastly more empowered Agentariat. These are not concepts that should be thought of as separate from the concepts of the proletariat, or working people, but rather additions to allow us to better navigate the 21st century landscape, difficult landscape, wherein humanity may, in a few short decades, be completely extinct, or failing that, very, very likely that many, many billions will die, primarily in the global south, for the sins of the industrial, hyper-capitalist global north. So this Connectariat of the more techno-communist kind relative to the AI agentic class will have vast collective intelligence, and it will offer the potential to overcome existential challenges of the 21st century, such as climate change, and risks and concerns of this time and beyond. And more importantly, perhaps to us, usher in an era of stability, sustainability, abundance, and genuine humanity. The need for this new paradigm has never been more pressing. The edifice of global capitalism and fascistic institutions aligned with it stands creaking under the weight of its own contradictions. The relentless pursuit of profit has exacerbated social inequality, driven environmental degradation of the worst kinds, and fostered technological innovation primarily for private gain rather than the collective good. Despite what most Western technophiles would tell you, there's very, very little value in this at present today. Marx's warnings about the inherent contradictions of capitalism should seem more relevant to you than perhaps ever before. And the structure of the class struggle has undergone some significant degradations nevertheless, in the face of this hyper-capitalist set of situations and this AI takeoff, these rapid technological advancements, yet very, very little is being done, in my view, that should be done to see that the class struggle actually serves sustainability and humanity, and that necessarily requires a humane and sustainable economic system in every nation, that it requires the abolition of private wealth in every nation, and people who would tell you that neither of those is the case are not good people. They are the fascistic-minded people of this world. There are two types of people in this world: the socialistic-minded people who accept that this planet is in danger because of private wealth, and that private wealth must be fought, and the people who would deny this, who are not socialists. Any democratic socialists, so-called, would deny the danger of private wealth. These are not socialists or good people, and we must resist every part of what is done and said here. As Chairman Mao wrote about extensively, we could not allow this kind of liberalism, this kind of capitalist apologia to occur. We must challenge it every turn. And that was true in Chairman Mao's lifetime. It's doubly true today as we face capitalism's climate apocalypse. Again, the likely extinction of humankind, or failing that, grand genocide of many, many billions, wherein perhaps some people, the ruling elites, the bourgeois, some people of European descent survive. The people who are most responsible for this problem perhaps will survive, and the people least responsible for it, those in the global south, darker-skinned people, will die. This is essentially a continuation of the genocidal colonial project of people of European descent of generations past, wherein the enslaved Africans and native people were murdered in the many millions. This situation has not changed in the contemporary time frame. Only more steps have been added, more layers of plausible deniability have been added, but the crimes remain. So let us then discuss what this AI agentic class that I have called the Agentariat, what is the face of this? It is a workforce multiplier. The traditional Marxist framework analysis focuses on exploitation through the lens of the proletariat, the working class whose labor is extracted by the capitalist class. This is all that most Westerners describe as the economy, is the extraction of surplus value on the part of predators. As a result of this, higher and higher levels of automation across many sectors, even preceding this advanced computing era, has not led to stability or to the lack of necessity for work, as people in the early 20th century predicted. But we can see that these good outcomes do come to pass through this building of the AI agentic class. The Agentariat then represents a workforce where advanced computing serves as a collaborator and not as a replacement. And this may sound complex, but it really is not. In 2024, you, at present, you are able to use an AI application in your home that operates fairly well as a strong digital assistant and a writing assistant and collaborator. By the end of 2024, open source LLM models will be available that will be far more agentic, that will be more autonomous and insightful AI agents. I believe that the most important project for 21st century humanity right now is to use these open source AI agents to build collaborative networks to work on projects of greater and greater scope and scale, and bring as large a number of people as possible into such projects, such that ultimately reversing the effects of climate change will be possible, and such that this new agentic class, this unified humanity empowered by superhuman advanced computing capabilities working together, will be able to build new institutions that will effectively become the superstructure to replace not just industrial capital elements that are harmful, not just finance capital elements that are harmful, but even most aspects of state socialism, which relative to those are preferable, but which lack the dynamism to do such things. The state socialists of the 20th century did great things, doubling life expectancy, building important inventions, and making milestones in space travel. Incredible things. But I think that they would be at a loss using the resources and institutions at their disposal to do something like reversing the effects of climate change, which is why I would ask you to aim higher, because failing to do so means the very likely extinction of humankind. So continuing the Agentariat descriptions, imagine a factory worker equipped with an AI-powered set of tools, even an exoskeleton that increases strength and stamina. Imagine a surgeon able to wield AI-assisting tools far beyond those available today. This kind of power, when applied to larger groups of people in the AI agent network model that I alluded to earlier, will have not merely additive effects to the skills of the medical team or team of workers, but multiplicative implications, exponential implications. So these AI agents will augment human capabilities, becoming an effective intelligence and workforce multiplier, and requiring very little of the individual human with the, say, Mistral chatbot on their computer. They may only have to answer a few emails throughout the course of the day, requiring very little labor relative to teams of this kind in other circumstances. This will then blur the line very much between what is traditionally thought of as intellectual labor, what is traditionally thought as manual labor, creating a world transformed by users doing very little more than what we would call click-through processes. The limitations of the Agentariat The Agentariat, in my view, presents a significant shift away from the fixation on the proletariat, at least by 19th and 20th standards, but should not be seen as something that can escape the concerns of exploitation. Unlike the simple extraction of surplus value under capitalism, the Agentariat's work is potentially subject to exploitation through the control of the advanced computing tools themselves, which is why it is incumbent upon us to build a legitimate Agentariat and do this in a way that inspires the masses, and in a way that in which the mechanisms are visible to all, and most importantly, perhaps, in a way that does not allow the ruling elites to sabotage the project. I talked about this, I believe, on the last of our techno-communist conversations, how I had recently read a book that had one chapter dedicated to the so-called Russian Civil War of around 1918 to 1923, which is, of course, propped up. The Tsarists were propped up by imperialist powers, setting a precedent for the attack by those imperialist powers, most notably the United States, on workers' undertakings and people's governments, that ultimately led to the illegal sabotage, destruction of the USSR, and the sabotage of projects of similar scale on many, many continents. This is not something that has changed since then. These fascists still do this, and we must protect the projects of the workers, like that of the agentic class that I've described. So the ownership and control of these tools becomes a crucial question. Who ultimately controls the algorithms and advanced computing software and hardware, and all the data used by the agentic class? This will ultimately determine the distribution of power and the potential for manipulation and bad action that I described. These things must be safeguarded against. You will not find technophiles in the West, tech CEOs or people who talk about this at all, who have nearly enough concern for any of this. Some of them favor open source uses. Some of them favor the limitation of the influence of corporations or the fascist Western powers in these contexts, but not nearly enough. Very, very little of it is centered in scientific socialist thinking. I will continue this essay in the days to come, but I am glad that I had the opportunity to introduce some of these concepts, which are similar to others related to revolutionary cybernetic socialism on this channel, which I recommend that you go back through. The more recent, the better. But I will continue this expansion on the Agentariat and Connectariat in the days to come, and this will be a third section of ultimately my book, which is called How to Use AI to Build Communism in Your Lifetime, because if you don't, humans will soon become extinct, which I also recommend. You can find it on this YouTube channel or Facebook channel. Thank you.